We're back.
Yes, sir.
It's
Right.
Sirski.
Yeah, so we were already talking, so let's just jump into it.
Right.
Zuri, what were you about to say?
So what I
Zuri?
was what I was saying was I had to unfollow ATL Scoop because I was noticing it's really some good people out in this world. Everybody isn't bad. Everybody isn't out to get you. Everybody doesn't have your worst interests at heart. And that was so for the audience, this was deriving from me. We were all three of us were jumping into before we started this episode, really about how anxiety can play a part in our lives. And I know that's a buzzword nowadays. I feel like our generation is really doing a good job jumping into subjects as depression, anxiety, therapy, and that's all great. So we were really just jumping into that. So let's jump back into it. So what I was saying was there was a time in my life where I had to really, go get professional help to train my mind to not always go left, because I would literally create scenarios in my head that are never going to exist, that have never existed. And it was really out of a fear base, I guess. And just my mind would go left no matter if it was social event, no matter if it was family. Like I could know the people, I could know the person. That's how I knew something wasn't right. And still my mind, I would have to, grab my mind from the left to go right. And then I went on just to say, we start talking about ATL Scoop, the news. For me, I don't watch the news. Like, I know that sounds horrible. I'm 27. I should really be watching the news a little bit, but I just can't.
You're on Twitter. That's what Twitter's for.
True. We got social media nowadays for sure. But I cannot sit there and watch the news and watch one bad story after another. And then like the ATL Scoop page too, for all my Atlanta listeners. Man, every time I get on there, if it's not a robbery, if it's not a killing, if it's not an abuse or domestic something, I just had to remove that from my timeline, because that's something that I had to do for my sanity.
No, I feel you. I stopped watching the news altogether. like nothing. Like I'd be at the gym, it'd be on the screen. I turn my head the other way because I want to be on the other end of spectrum with positivity, right? And it coming from a genuine place, not that person that's like, I don't like the way that feels, like they putting on. But in order to truly radiate light, I got to consume all this light all day. So what I do is I stack my morning with just all positivity quotes, all the things that I love. But if I were to add news to that, it's not positive. It's like a 1-15 ratio. They'll be like, oh yeah, a black man murdered somebody, and then the black man got murdered. And then a black woman, got molested. Or don't go to this park that's down the street from your house. Oh, by the way, the animal shelter got new puppies. And you're like, what? Like, no.
It's the 9-1 you was talking about too.
Yeah. So
it is so weird how they throw in like random shit like that. Like, oh, like, we're bringing some puppies, or we're bringing an eagle on to fly in the studio. Like,
and it be animals too. Like, well, we don't give a fuck.
Like, but I kind of feel like that's the other part though. Like, people do naturally care about negative news. Like, people like to watch stuff that is like bad, like people like I don't know if anybody follows like pages where like people like fall, or like, just like cars crash. Like, I don't know, just stuff. Like, there's so much stuff that just catches your attention that is negative in the sense, but at the same time, it's also like kind of like, wow, like that happened. Like, that's crazy. And there's something kind of like addicting about consuming content that like kind of blows your mind. It's like, why? Whoa, like I only thought of that in my head. Like, that actually happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what be fucking me up. And it's like, I'm so happy you said that, but at the same time, that's what I used to struggle with, where I would make up these scenarios like I just said, right? And then I would actually see it happen. And I'm like, I knew I went crazy. But then that makes it worse for me, right? The fact that I see the reality of it really happening, it makes it worse in the moment.
No, that's real. Like, and this is what I was saying earlier as well. Like, at the end of the day, we all still just kids. That curiosity is just as much on fire now as it was ever like back in the day. When we're getting addicted to social media, that's what we addicted to. Like you getting your curiosity fed with things from around the world, around the world. And what's so dope about those, the dope thing and the negative thing about like a falling video or somebody, a car crash or somebody, there's no language barrier to that. Somebody falls down a flight of stairs in a funny way, it's going to be funny no matter what language you speak. You don't need to understand anything. Yeah. So it's like that it being universal and you can get it all day. Like that endless scroll of like dopamine. Yes. And then when you're not getting it, you just looking for it. You're like, oh yeah, it's coming. I have to do a countdown for myself. Like, cause I have to, like, one book I read, it said like, you know, being a content producer rather than a consumer. And that shift helped me.
Straight up.
Like, you are here to add talk value, about that. Not take it.
Talk about
Let's
that.
Let's get into it.
I feel like a lot of people want that.
Yeah. But
to get from point A to point C, B is very unclear. B is almost like impossible. It's like, no, that's, I mean, I could do it for like a couple days, but my thumb gets me back there somehow.
So I have a few strategies I use. One is I call 3 for 1, right? So if I want to go down a certain path, we always use in basketball. So I'm just going to stay in that vein, right? I want to be a
triangle offense,
right? I'm an 11th. I'm trying to get buckets. I'm him. That's what I'm chasing, right? And I'm on social media all the time. They'll tell you like, you need to get off. And I say, no. Every time you see something, whether it's a fight, whether it's a car crash, whether it's a funny video, you feel yourself getting lost in something that isn't helpful, unfollow that page and add 3 more that align to what you're chasing. So let's say it's a fight video and let's say it's Atlanta Scoop or something like that. Like, okay, this, you know, this place isn't safe. Don't go here. You get hurt. You get whatever. You unfollow that page. You're like, okay, basketball drills, Kevin Durant, the history of the basketball. You follow those 3 pages. You do that every day. A year from now, your social media is still exactly what you want it to be. But more importantly, it's what you need it to be to get where you're going. So that's 3 for 1. That's one that I definitely use. And another one is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because I can't just say, all right, I'm done and just close the app. I'll end up my brain will shut off and I'm on Instagram again. I'm like, what's wrong with me? So I say, I give myself 5. I was like, okay, 5. All right, 4, 3. And when I get to that last post, that's it.
Oh, it's the post.
Yeah, the posts.
Oh, that's so tragic.
Posts, reels, whatever.
Like, so you mean like 5 posts?
You get 5 left.
I get no.
It's time's up and you out. Yeah.
Yes, I get to look at 5 more. When I get to that point where I realize, like, yo, how long have I been on here? And of course, the answer is I don't know. I say I'm gonna give myself 5 more.
I like and that then
one. I get to praise myself for actually logging off. Give myself a victory moment. I don't punish myself and say, man, it's been 45 minutes. It's been 20. No, I'm like, I'm him. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. And it feels even better when you get that double win.
No, that's a trick of the mind.
No, real talk. Real talk. That's how I play with my mind all day. That's why I be on 100. And on that last number 1, don't let it be somebody's slideshow of vacation. Tula, Mexico, and they got 12 pictures. I'm like, let's get it. I got more time. So I'm swiping to the right now, like, it's Gucci.
Hey, you got to love them carousels with all the videos in them.
Yeah, right.
Thank you for serving us. us consumers just appreciate you just letting me go through all these things.
Yeah, especially when that's my last video. But that's what I do. Those are my 2 main strategies, the 3 for 1. So, and that is hard. It's a hard thing to do too. Let me not just say it like it's easy. Because sometimes you may be unfollowing your grandma. Maybe your grandma toxic. Maybe your grandma be out here like, you know, these hoes be playing with me. I'll catch you on the corner, Keisha. Like subliminal.
Ain't never happy.
You know, you or whatever it is, your auntie or your homeboy or whoever. It's hard to unfollow that person. Because you're going to have to look them in the eye and tell them why. Because, you know, this is a whole nother generation that lives
and they're going to ask you too.
Yeah.
Like,
social media. Yeah. And tell it like, bro, it's not helpful to what I'm trying to do. And if that's hard for you, I say don't start there. Because I'm sure you follow a lot more pages that you don't need to be following, right? So don't start with the person that's closest to you that's going to make you just say, I can't do this anymore. Start with, of course, the ones you don't know. At least that's what I did. And now it's definitely more tailored to what I need to see all the time. Especially on TikTok.
I was having a similar conversation with somebody just in the same vein about how people don't use the internet for good or they don't use it for what it's fully capable of. I feel like the vast majority of people on the internet only use it for entertainment and like, I mean, to research things and to look things up. Maybe I take this back. Maybe I'm talking about social media. I'm gonna go with it anyway. I really do feel like that there's so much technology. There's so much programs. There's so many things that can help you live your life more efficiently. And out of pure comfort and laziness, you use the internet for all the wrong shit. Like you're not really taking advantage that we live in the 21st century and that there are softwares and startups and people who are just innovating and creating all this shit that makes what you're trying to do easier. And I feel like, especially once you get into these companies that have subscriptions, right? People are spending, you know, a bunch of money a month, like paying for all these different subscriptions. And it's like, which of those is actually helping you move in the direction you're trying to go? Like, is that an actual tool? Like, for example, I used to have this, the subscription to this. It was kind of like a music service, but it would play these things called binaural beats, and it would help me focus. Like it was its own patented music kind of thing. It was, you know, it's not like what I go to just to enjoy myself, but if I'm really trying to get something done, I would play these binaural beats. It was $6.99, $7.99, $9.99 a month, whatever. But like, I feel like it's using technology to help yourself, to optimize, you know, to put yourself in a position to win. And a lot of people don't even think about it that way. They just take it for advantage.
Or I would say they don't take it for advantage, or like it becomes a disadvantage, right? Because it's made to be addictive. Let's not like pretend that piece, like it's made to get you trapped into a cycle. And they know what people's baseline is. Like you said, our baseline is our negativity, is the shock factor. And we're talking about it earlier, like it's because as human beings, our first baseline is to survive. So how do you survive? And I can't remember what book I was reading or podcast or whatever, but this is the best I'd ever heard it put. Like historically, if we're in the jungle, right? And I'm not an anxious person at all. So Zuri said she had high anxiety. Like 1,000 years ago, she lives and I die. For the simple fact of when we in the woods and like, what's that sound? Every 99 out of 100 times, if not 100, Zuri's gonna look and be like, it's a lion, and she gonna dip. Me, I'm like, after the 40th time, I'm like, that ain't no lion, Zuri. Hey, every day is this with you. And unfortunately, the 41st time, it's a lion. So I die, my bloodline doesn't continue, and Zuri continues on for another 100 generations. That's how it plays out. So back then, it was extremely helpful. That's why we're here. But right now, it's torture. It's torture, especially now you have access to everything in the world. You have access to all the dangers of the world.
Yes. And I want to talk to that point too. That's circling back, but not really because you just said it, but how you said we have access to everything. I was thinking that the other day or some other weeks ago, I saw something, I think on social media, and it was like some news that I had no business even seeing that disturbed me, that happened all the way in fucking Denver. I don't even need that on my mental, and I can't control it. I can't help it. I'm just reading it and seeing it, and it's thousands of miles away from me. And I think too, like you said, that really talks to the piece that because of social media, we see things that we have no business seeing, that we cannot even help. Even if we're the type of person where our mind, you know, directly goes to helping, we can't. So now it's just stuck in my mind as another scenario. And I think too, that's where social media has that other connotation to it, where, you know, you have one person saying, no, knowing that information is good in case it happens, you know, in my area in Atlanta or wherever you are. Like, is it an in case situation, or is that just some anxiety that you're just going to add just to have because it's easy and I'm scrolling and I'm doing nothing while scrolling, right? And then another piece, what else did I want to hit on?
Can I just say that
it lost me?
Can I just say that I don't watch the news either? Like, can I come out in solidarity and just like
join the group?
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter where I lived either. Like, I think, shout out to my parents. I know y'all probably listening. It was just a no for us in the house. It was a hell no. Like, no, you're not ever turning on the news. Like, the only time we would get to watch the news was New Year's, when the ball would drop or whatever. Like, if we were at home, that's when we would get to turn on ABC, and whoever else. Like, I didn't start watching CNN and Fox until I was an adult. There's something about it. Like, I just like something about not knowing gives you just peace,
Ignorance is bliss.
Yes,
it is. It is, somebody
Real
could
talk.
die next to you in the house next to you, and you could live there happily for 20 years without ever knowing. But if you found out the next day, I feel like you would feel some type of way about your neighborhood, or you would feel some type of way like, oh, I got to get away from that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I mean, it's a good thing, but sometimes like it's a bad thing. Like, especially if you live in a city like Chicago, like Atlanta, like New York. I mean, and these are all cities in the US. Like, there's other cities too that like it just goes down, and it's like, do you really want to be like walking in fear all the time?
And what's so crazy is that we definitely live in a more positive world than a negative one.
Yes.
We definitely
people don't
live in a
believe
more
that,
positive
though.
world
So many
than a
good
negative
people
one.
out here.
People don't
Right.
believe it. They don't
Right.
believe that.
Even look at yourself, like, and like people who think they're just like terrible, I'm a bad person, I'm all this thing. Even if you look at yourself with all the terrible things you've done, if you do tit for tat, the positive to the negative, you've probably done more positive things in your life than negative. Just little things, like just existing. So there's that. But the second thing that I just thought was funny is about what you said about the news. Because being Nigerian, I can speak for I'm gonna go out on the ledge because I'm gonna speak for all foreign fathers. Foreign fathers love them some news. They are addicted to it. They love it more than they love their spouses. They just be in front of that TV, just consume. I'm telling you, at least they show that love for that news. Oh my God, my foreign listeners, tell me I'm lying. But specifically African dads, I don't know what it is. They sit that TV, front of that TV, just posted up consuming. And I'll never forget this story. Like this, I had to be like 11, 12 years old. And I was in the living room watching like SpongeBob or something, cracking up, having a great time. Like, and my dad came in and he's like, you're still watching cartoons. When are you going to grow up? And just the way he took the remote and sat down and changed it to the news, I went to my room. I sat on the bed and I was like, well, I guess my childhood's over. I didn't know what told me. Like, I thought I would have a like warning.
How old were you? How young
like
were
11 or 12.
11. Oh.
And like, I'm middle school. So I'm like, dang, I guess it got cut off in 6th grade. Yeah. Like somebody, or 5th grade, somebody should have told me.
So you stopped watching cartoons?
No, yeah, I kept watching. I just felt bad about it. I was like, I'm just childish.
You're just hiding like under the covers, like trying to don't see me not being a child.
Craziness. I just think about like the different households, how you said like it wasn't why was it a no-go in your house? Like what was the reasoning?
I honestly couldn't tell you a lot of things my parents did. I felt like it made life harder. Because nobody else was doing it. And I was like, why can't we just do what they're doing? Like, why do we gotta be so backwards? Why can't I have apple juice first thing in the morning? Like, why do I have to drink a cup of water? Like, why can't like, I just have processed foods and hellish, like, why can't I just have what I want? Like, why does it gotta be some like logical, like, oh no, that's not good for your body, or oh no, like, that'll corrupt your mind. Like, I didn't get to watch TV either. I mean, I did. My parents would be like, no, you're capping. I definitely got to watch TV, but it was hella limited, and I know like people who grew up in front of the TV, like that's just It was just them and the TV. They would sit like this close. I don't feel like I became any smarter than them. Like I feel like we both are competent adults, but I don't know. Like my parents just did not let really anything slide. It was always just like, it just felt like all the fun things were like, nah, that's not for you, champ. You don't get to play video games.
Real talk.
No, that's so crazy you have that experience, because we relate in that, because I'm gonna say something and this might shake the world. But every time cartoons come up, they ask what cartoons,
Facts.
the Barney or whatever everybody watch, right? Like I'm probably even off with Barney being a cartoon. So I didn't watch cartoons growing up.
At all?
Like I didn't. Like I'm talking growing up where I was in that 11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in that 11, in that realm, right? But I still haven't caught up.
Name some shows. Name some shows that you just missed out on.
No. No, it's better you name some, and I'm gonna just say yes or no. Watch. Name them. What you watch?
Shit, I don't know. Like I was watching TV.
All right,
I was on Toonami heavy. So first of all, off top, let's start off with Pokemon.
No.
Dragon Ball Z.
No.
Hey,
Sailor
put your
Moon.
fingers up.
No.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, you lost me on the last two. I was with you on Pokemon.
I'm just
But like I'm talking
Toonami.
like the OG ones, like.
So wait. Rugrats.
No.
I had to sneak that one. Nah.
Hey Arnold.
No, Arthur. No, not her coming. Arthur. No.
Arthur was on PBS.
Yeah, Arthur was safe.
They had no cable. Like in the morning,
man.
When we didn't have cable, I would still watch Arthur heavy.
Yeah, Arthur's, what I'm saying, Between the Lions, Sesame Street, those were safe shows,
Oh my God. If I say I didn't watch Sesame Street, I did it.
You did it?
No.
Wow.
Blue's Clues?
Okay, that's the thing. Okay.
She didn't watch Sesame Street though. Like
I didn't.
That says
okay,
everything
but like
you need
I have
to know,
a story that I'm going to get into.
When did you start reading? 2 years old?
Listen. I have a story, but I just want it to get out of like how much I missed out on. I feel like, right? So when Blue's Clues came back around, went viral on Twitter, but everybody's like, "Oh, I'm so emotional. I'm 30. I shouldn't be feeling like this." I could not relate at all. Like I'm just sitting there, just going through the tweets, like can't relate. Steve. But it's like back circling back, Kamau. The reason why I relate to you in not so much in the parent, but like in the sibling aspect of like why I didn't watch cartoons. So back then, so I'm talking to my friend, right? And we're talking about cartoons, and she's just going about them, talking about them. And she's like, yeah, I miss these, or, just talking about them. And I'm like, yeah, I've never watched that before. And she's like, why? Right. So like with you, Kamau, yours was more of your parents just saying, to do other things or a limited time. For me, I had a sibling that just like wasn't the nicest at that time. And me being the youngest sibling, it was always just like it just was never granted the opportunity to watch those cartoons. So I'm just telling this story, right? And I'm just rattling it off, telling. So then my friend's like, yeah, are you okay? And she was like, how's your imagination? And I'm like, I never looked at it that way. I know, right? Like I never looked at it that way. I'm just like, nah, never seen those. Nope, don't know what you're talking about. Any references? So she's just like, dang, like that's a big chunk of childhood that you probably should go back and go watch. So then I'm like, as just what we were talking about, right? That anxiety. I'm like, damn, is that another part of my childhood that I need to like go back and see how did I really feel, like back then, or if I could even remember, right? So it's just like every time somebody talk about cartoons, I'm like, shit, I'm so out this conversation. Like can't relate, no imagination during that time, nothing.
Like I'm distraught for you, like because I feel like there's so many references. So
that's what they always say too. Like I'm mad for you. I'm sad for you. I'm just like
responsibility. So when somebody says that, like, that's a Rugrats reference. Like recess, but like you a Randall. Like that's a.
The references are important. Like it's honestly funny. Like because I be having some like I have a lot of international friends, and they be making references to like American movies. I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, I've never watched that movie. Like they're like, oh, this is American classic. What are you talking about? I'm like, I mean, for you, like I guess, like if that's what they said in the magazines, but I don't care about that, like, but I ain't gonna cap. Like all the black shows too. Like I like what was the Chappelle show? Like I didn't get to watch Chappelle show. You thought I was gonna get to watch Chappelle show? If I get to watch
that's true.
Yeah, that was
I
over
can't
with
remember how I figured out a way to watch that, but it definitely wasn't at the house.
Yeah, so like I feel like I definitely had to go back because those references are important. They like they are like, and honestly, what I'll say about black content and like black shows, I feel like they be trying to drop dimes in the content, like in the show. Like you just got to catch it. Sometimes it might be a joke, sometimes it might be a skit or whatever. Like you got to catch it, but I feel like, black producers, creators, directors, whoever, screenwriters, like I definitely feel like they plant stuff. So, it's a good thing to consume
gems. Yeah.
Certain shows, certain TV. I'm not advocating for all.
I want to circle back too. I'm circling back like times 3 here to the social media piece with the consumer and producer piece. So I have an analogy / question for y'all, well, for us. So you all are saying that, I think Kamau, you were referencing how most of the time now on social media, everyone is just there for entertainment, right? But for me, I'm starting to see that social media is actually starting to be the same type of content over and over, and like everybody's trying to monetize.
Not just for entertainment. I'm sorry to cut you off. Not everybody. I did say for entertainment. I didn't say everybody. I said like the vast majority, like a very high percentage. Yeah, is just there.
But it's like even that, right? Like the vast amount is, as big social media is, the vast amount is a lot of people. And to me, I'm actually starting to see the content be the same for everybody. And maybe it's just my timeline because we all have different communities. It's that same, if I could describe it, it's that same type of clean cut, modern type of content that everyone is trying to monetize. Everyone has like a wake up routine, right? Wake up, stretch with a white comforter to get out the bed. They look at the mirror.
That's not the white comforter.
They have like the off-white rug. They got like these figures, and it's just like the same shit over and over again. And I feel like at a time you have to ask yourself, is everybody really living the same life, or is everyone trying to embody what they see work to monetize? And is that taking the, for lack of better word, fun out of social media for people who just want to come and consume? Because just because someone is coming on social media to just consume doesn't mean they're successful off of like social media. Doesn't mean like the vast.
I don't think you need to even. I feel like you should be able to get on social media and consume. Like, this isn't bashing.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
yeah. But like that's what I've been seeing. I wanna pick y'all brains on what y'all think about that. Like that same type of content. Everybody's trying to monetize. The people who probably just come in to just chill and consume, from their day, they're like, oh, another wake up video. Oh, another
Tunji,
ad,
can I go?
Another sponsor.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how much of it is actually social media and how much of it is kind of just human nature. I feel like people usually keep pretty small circles, like there's 7 billion people on earth. People really only pay attention to like a very, very minute percentage of the total population. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's more so of like people just wanting to mimic and imitate, what they see and what they feel like is cool, and what the culture that they're a part of is saying is cool. And I just feel like social media is the vehicle to do it. I don't necessarily I guess I was thinking when you were talking, if we didn't have cameras, and we all kind of lived in the same, vicinity, we was in the same community, like would all of our shit look the same, like would our houses, would our white comforters, would it all be? So that's kind of why I feel like it's more of a human nature thing than it is like a social media thing. But I also didn't speak to the monetization piece, so that's probably different.
I'm thinking that to the original point, everybody's still chasing that freedom, right? And the first way to get there, I feel like, is when you see something that works, replicate it. They replicate it, right? So let me get my baseline together. I know I can eat off of this just to post. Because the thing is, like, what is the first somebody tell you? Okay, I'm trying to get it together. I want to be free. This job ain't working. I ain't trying to go back to school. All this. Okay, social media. I can build a brand and everything.
But is that really freedom if you copy it, though?
And that's what I'm saying, right? The baseline is getting something like, okay, I'm posting, and then finding your own creativity. And I was just reading this quote earlier today, like Nipsey Hussle said, the highest human act is to inspire.
Facts.
You read that somewhere, like to breathe life into someone else. And sometimes once you have life breathed into you, you're like, I just want to do. And it's like, okay, this morning, and the thing that makes me feel conflicted is that you use the example of a morning routine, and we all need it, right? And my thing is, if it's for monetization, and if I don't know, when it's something that's so beneficial like that, I'm like, copy me, take it. If it blessing your life, then take it. And then eventually with time, the thing is to make it your own. And I feel like when it becomes a problem is when you define yourself based on what other people are doing.
Yeah, and that's the
if it's one thing to be like, this is the morning routine that I am doing as well. I got it from this person. And I always say that too. Once you give somebody credit of where you ate from, all right, you Gucci.
But I feel like, I feel like for Zuri though, and this, I feel like for Zuri, I really hear the artist in you. You know what I'm saying? I hear the like, I feel like real artists or creatives like have disgust for a copycat. You know, it's like,
I hate that shit.
Be original.
That's why I'm like, Tunji, I understand where you're coming from.
Have some, you know what I'm saying, about yourself. Like, be original. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You see me. You see me. I appreciate that. You get your flowers.
No, I feel that.
But no, I'm no, not to dismiss what you said, Tunji, because that works for some people for sure. Like we said, it's 7 billion people in this world. Some people see a morning routine and they legit just copy that what they see. But then it's so many caveats to that, because then you got to ask yourself, that video is what, 30 seconds, right? So I'm gonna copy 30 seconds, or whoever's gonna copy 30 seconds of that morning routine for me to do that. And I'm not even really seeing other things that really make them, or, really getting deeper. And I guess that's where that point with you said again, I guess I'm answering my own question. You make it your own. But some people, they need a little bit more push than that. And that's where that copycat takes over, I feel like. And I think that's where Kamau really sees that, what I was saying behind my words of just like, that's not freedom, I think for that social media piece, it looks good, it's sexy, you can get an ad, you can get some money behind it if you get to that point. But just that point that I was making from the beginning of over and over that same shit that I see, and how you brought it back to freedom, and we can go right back to that, like you said. Is that even free, right?
To discuss that same shit.
Yeah. I can feel it now. Like, as soon as you validate it, she's like, exactly.
Because I was trying to hold my tongue. I was just like, nah.
I feel like that's, being an artist is a good thing. I really do feel like God made certain people different. Well, of course but really for the artist, I feel like your predisposition is to go against the grain, is to try to be first, is to mix it up, to switch it up. Like, conformity is, it's just the thing that makes your gut wrench. You're just like, I can never just walk one way and never look left, look right, want to do something different, want to wear pink, want to just pop. Like, it's just not in you. And I feel like there's a little bit of that in everybody, but certain people, if there's a level that you could measure, they're just off the charts. They're just trying to go the different direction.
No, I feel, and I also don't think it's like necessarily trying to go a different direction. It's like, I know there's something inside of me and I'm trying to figure out what that thing is, right? And like an artist, it's something beautiful when you you're taking a gamble, right? And then you're posting something, you don't know if this is gonna hit, but it speaks to you. And then it hits, and you're like, okay, bet. And I think why also, Zuri, why you get so hot, because as an artist, as a creative, to create something new that can actually be monetized is disgustingly difficult. To have you create something new that is new to people, like you, like this is coming out of you, this coming out of Nation, bringing things together, and it can make bread. You like, that's usually they call it starving artists for a reason. And now when you're an artist, you can actually eat, and then 30 people take what you're about to eat off of. You're like, nah, bro, nah. Get your own morning routine, get an afternoon routine, get an evening routine. I ain't trying to hear that. So I understand that piece. I absolutely do.
I feel like a lot of artists don't even know what makes them money until like a bunch of people just start flocking to it, you know? And then they like discover like, oh, wow, like this is what people like, you know, like this is, I've been thinking is this, and I've been trying to, and I feel like the only way that an artist really gets to that stage is you just got to create, you know, you just got to get the volume in, you just got to like, because I don't know, maybe this doesn't apply for everybody. Some people might have a really good pulse on the culture since they were like 11, but like most people don't know what's going to hit with everybody else. You know, they think they know, but you know, like I think of that dude, Filet. I don't know if you guys follow him, the basketball dude. Who,
yeah.
Thank you for doing it, because I definitely was about to, but you know what I'm saying? Like he had
don't
just
copyright
like,
me.
He had just like a random, you know, reel or something that he just like was, and it just went crazy, you know, like he just mixed it up. It was so unique, but it was like probably him just doing his thing like he's been doing all this time in school, you know, talking to his friends and his homies, and you know, like I've been doing this, and like for whatever reason it popped and people love it. Now his name is Filet. Now he has a brand. Now he's doing like, so sometimes like there's no way you get to plan for that stuff. You just gotta
and I think that's
out.
that part right there that people hate. I call it the waiting in the wings. The fact that I know what I'm doing is dope. I know that it could hit, but it's that could and maybe and it should. It's that area
it's that
right
should.
there.
It's that should.
That
because
should. Yeah.
When,
true.
When you're feeling
you know
like this should hit.
Yeah.
And it'll eat you alive.
And I call it the waiting in the wings, because I feel like honestly I'm there right now, in that gray area, that waiting, and it's just like, nah, like y'all need to see this. Like I know this is going to change, you know, the world, as people say, or my world, right? But it's just like, how come it just hasn't taken off yet? And I think that question right there is what paralyzes people, where they just stick to that. They as in me too, they might, you know, put their thing off for a year because they just know it can be better, but they're just thinking that it should be somewhere already, right? And that even if they're looking for, and I feel like there are so many things that we look for. Maybe they're really banking on social media to hit, like you were saying, Kamau, and they're posting these reels, they're posting these videos, they're putting their heart out there, they're posting these podcast episodes, like, and they're just really waiting. Let's make this shit personal.
Not the
voice crack. They posted these podcast episodes.
I'm glad y'all caught that. And like we just posted it, and it's just like, nah, like they need to hear this. This should have hit, you know, 2 months ago or 2 years ago. I think if we can just,
how long are you supposed to wait in the wings? How long? Like,
but that we don't know.
You die. Like straight up, like, no, this the reality. Yeah, mic drop. My thing is, so that's, and I say that because of two reasons. One, I feel like everybody's meant to create. Like we are creations. You feel alive when you create, when it's something you love. The problem is everything is tainted with money because people don't have enough resources.
Right.
If you had all the resources you wanted and needed, you would still be creating to solve a problem, to get something to move forward because you loved it. So once you do something you love every single day, not only do you get that good feeling of, okay, that, like you said, that's dope. The world needs this, but most importantly, I need it. I need to get this out of me. And then like you develop your skill, you see yourself growing. That feels good. Because for me, for the longest, like that's why I do like my speaking videos every day. This is like a 5-year journey where I'm watching myself cultivate the skill. And every day it's for me. Because before it was like, okay, well, I got 300,000 on this video. I got 212 on this one. What's going on? Was it a caption? Was it? And it becomes so obsessive if it's which is the next one that's going to hit. But when it's every day, this is a part of who I am, then it doesn't matter as much. You get the joy from doing it, and you know it will come in time. Even if it doesn't.
Is the way that you approach that the way, though? Is that the way? Are you claiming
that's the way that's working? Like what I'm saying is, and I'm looking at it in two ways. I guess only time will tell. Time will tell.
And what are you measuring your success by? Because if you're saying it's working, what does that mean?
I feel joy every single day.
Okay.
Yesterday, my mind was all over the place. It was scattered. I was pissed. I couldn't barely process because I woke up late and then I gave my time away. I said, I'll do this for you. I'll do this for you. I stopped. I did my morning video. I touched my own soul. I spoke and my whole mind shifted. Really, my life felt lighter. Like the low, like, okay, I can do this now. And it's because I get all this dopamine now as soon as that video is done. As soon as because I've told myself in my mind, this is part of my purpose. Like if it means that much to you, beyond just the money and the fame, there's hella ways to get money. There really are, especially in this day and age. That's why people switch up so much. But when you find something that means something to you, it's a lot harder to switch up. And when you stay grounded, like I said, overall, like I feel great every day. So that's why I keep doing it. It's a labor of love where I actually enjoy. Now, when we're talking about how do you know it's a success, we will know. What's today for me? Today is day 90 of speaking. We're going to do 365 times. Woo. In 5 years from now, if I'm not a world-renowned speaker, because that's what I need to do in order to get the other goals that I want for the community. If I'm not a world-renowned speaker, you got it. This ain't the way.
I love this.
This ain't the way.
I love this.
I put money on it today.
Put this on record. March 31st.
We're going to clip that.
Yeah,
in the Q1.
Sound bite it. I'm telling you. So
I want to go back to one thing you said so I saw a lot of need for self-love in what you were talking about. And I'm going to break that down because the first thing you said, right, when you started, you said you have to do it for yourself before anybody else. And I think that's another piece that a lot of people, me included, didn't understand at first, because I feel like with social media, and it goes back to what we were talking about before, right? That copycat type of nature. You're doing it for the audience before yourself. But a lot of people probably are maybe struggling with that self-love, because I believe that within self-love, you find what speaks to you and what makes you, what makes you want to wake up in the morning. And I feel like if you can tap into that first and do the work, it's work now, but if you could do the work and love yourself and know how to love you, whatever your love language is for yourself before anyone else, I feel like then it's a lot, at least it's easier to do whatever it is for you first. If you want to wake up in the morning and work out because that's just what you love to do, you want to be the best physical trainer ever known to man and woman, you loving yourself first, you're going to get up in the morning because it's for you. And if you don't do it for you, you probably won't have any clients or as many clients as you want. You probably won't talk to them how you want to talk to them or how they need to be talked to. You probably won't pour in their cup or feed them in the way they do. And I just felt that was important to say, because as you were talking and you just kept saying, it's for you. You got to love yourself then, man. Like, you got to be in love with yourself to be able to get yourself up and do that thing over and over again. Because for me, that's the hard part, honestly.
And for me, like, the thing has to bring you joy.
Yeah.
Like loving yourself. I love myself through the process of doing the thing, because the feeling I get afterwards. And the main thing I will also say from a strategic standpoint of make it small. People always be trying to do the most at the beginning when you the sorriest. You ain't got no skill. You try to put on a motion picture. Boy, you ain't Ryan Coogler. Oh. So if you want to make a mini movie, right?
Got that iPhone.
Yeah, like you can just talk in front of a camera. Like, oh, I got this idea, and something that will make you a problem, right? Disgusting. Like people hoard ideas. Like, I can't give away this idea. Like Maya Angelou said, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you get.
Yep.
I'm hungry to give ideas. Like, take it. That's $1 million idea. Because the reality is, most people ain't even built to do the work that it takes to get $1 million idea to $1 million.
And I used to struggle with that. I
give you 20 of them. Are you going to put in the 5 years that it takes to make it $1 million company, $1 million business?
Nope.
And the thing is, no, give them like, this would be a great idea for you. This would be a great idea for you. This would be, and then your mind starts working differently. But for yourself, on the strategic point of doing, like creating every day, make it super small and manageable. I do not try and do the most. A lot of people, they got great cameras, they got great backgrounds. I'm basic. I am basic. So I keep it basic until like somebody helps me grow. But we'll see 5 years from now if I know what I'm talking about.
Now, that was a good piece you said too, about giving, the ideas to get more and that creative piece, because I used to struggle with that, but I'm speaking more on the aspect of something being my idea. And then not making sure I, gatekeep that when maybe I could use some help, right? But because I'm thinking I need to gatekeep everything and, I'm going to do it myself and I'm going to be the biggest. No, man, you move better and faster with other people. And now the other thing you said is really the key, though, that I had to learn was, even if you tell your idea, that other person is not going to go and complete it. Most 9.9999 times out of 10, they're not. Like, they might sound very excited and they might say, oh, they want to do it too, but they're not going to go and do the same work that you're going to do. And even if they do, which they probably won't, it's not going to be on that same caliber as you. And you never know who can help you in the room. And you have to get that out. It's your baby. I know it. It's your idea. It's going to change the world. And your name gonna be attached to it, but you just never know who's around you that God has sent like a boat to come pick you up.
Not that boat.
Listen,
that boat,
y'all know that story.
Going to pick you up.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta give it out to get some help.
Hey, something I caught from what you said is create in community. I think that is a great gem, because there's a lot of benefits to community, and it gets you out of your own limiting beliefs, because people are doing it with you. People are doing it on their own. You're witnessing it and you're seeing growth. And I think, it's just naturally going to attract you. So I really like that piece. The other piece I wanted to speak to, I think, man, I'm just not even gonna go for it. I don't even remember, so I'm not. It's all good.
I wanted to say, like, in addition to the creativity piece, right? Just because this is something I'm just so passionate about this, and I feel like it's one of the easiest ways for people, like when you are at the bottom, right, to start feeling better. I just saw a video of a friend on TikTok was like, oh man, I've been freestyling in the car. Why don't you tell me this was so much fun? And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Like doing stuff like, and not even to me, like to the internet, to the world. I'm sorry now, but I'm going to get good. And just that ability to grow and do something you love and watch the skill develop will cause you to thrive. And something about so it takes courage to put something on the internet, period. So you want to build self-confidence, right? Do something that yourself that makes you laugh, makes you smile, that you enjoy, not for the audience, but for you. Post it. Not might delete later, might keep forever, right? And then the next day, do it again, then run it again, then run it again. And you'll find as time goes along, you see more and more of yourself. And it takes like even me, it don't matter how confident you are. That first video, you looking at yourself like, is my tooth crooked? My teeth look kind of yellow. That shirt dingy. That background trash. Like this camera, you'll find all the excuses to not post a video. After when it's time to post, you find every single flaw. Beautiful thing about it is growth. In order to grow, you need flaws. Mm-hmm. So have them be there. If the video makes you smile, laugh, whatever, post it, keep running it.
I think another piece with that I can add is you never see yourself as other people see you. And I think a lot of times when we, like you're saying, right, let's keep on this example that you were using, Tunji. You post something, you're looking at your teeth, you're looking at your hair. With me, it's my voice, right? When I first started speaking, it was hard for me to play back my own voice. I'm like, I want to sound different. I don't like how I fluctuated that time. But you never know who needed what you said. Fuck how you sound or how you want to sound. Totally. Fuck how you look. Fuck how your hair looks today. You never know what that one person, 10, it don't matter. Even if it's just one person every day, every year, you never know what they needed to keep going, to live, to get up, to find themselves, to love themselves, to get to the gym, to finally follow their dreams. You never know. So just to keep back on what you said, Tunji, man, like post it, right? If it's something with social media and you're a speaker, you're a basketball player, golfer, it don't matter. Post that because you never see yourself as others see you. They might think you the coolest thing walking.
No. Disclaimer though, you can and will get roasted. This is the internet, so let's not pretend like facts. You won't get flamed up out here. But what I'm saying is the consistency makes it like you can break the will of anybody that would roast or anything. Like once you become such a part of like your routine and your own life, and like all that other stuff starts to fade away. Because like the trolls become non-existent when you become like an
they're gonna troll presence. Anyway.
That's like, come on now.
All right. Be you. I got two closeout thoughts. One is there are two punchlines too. One is you got to create your own freedom. And then the other is God gives everybody ideas, but no two people have the same idea, not the same way. The create the freedom piece is what Tunji kind of just finished up by saying it. And I think that we've kind of been hitting on the last few minutes is that, this freedom, however that sounds to you, however that shows up in your life, however you want to be free in a way that you're not currently free, like you got to create it. And I feel like people don't think about creativity as a means to do anything other than like, maybe to have fun or, but creativity is so important to who you are and how you unlock what you're trying to unlock. It's tied together in just a godly way, to be frank with you. Like a seed was planted inside of you. It's not going to be the same seed that was planted inside of somebody else. To the extent that you try to jack that idea or that you're worried that they're going to jack yours, they're not going to be able to do it because God's vision was planted in you. They can't see that. They can't see that. They see what they see and they'll have a different version. And if they do try to take it, it's going to go a different direction. Lyft and Uber went two different directions. They're similar companies. Nobody necessarily jacked the other, but they went in different directions. The second piece is, this piece that there's no two seeds, there's no two-seeded ideas. Ultimately, what you're here to do, what you're here to create, that's between like you and the higher power, like it's going to come through if you let it. It's going to come through if you create in community. It's going to come through if you're consistent. All of these things are ultimately to help you do God's work.
Facts. And don't let anybody talk you out of what you know God said to you.
Facts.
Because that's real easy, man. They your friends, they your family, you in love. Don't let anyone talk you out of what you know God told you for your vision, for your goal. Because that's real. And it's easy to fall out of that too. Yes, you probably gonna come back up on it because it's your purpose, it's what you're supposed to do. But if we could minimize that time of letting other people seep into our minds and seep into our vision, we can really get further and really again impact, the people that we're supposed to impact, or our world, whatever your world is.
Yeah, and I'll leave you with this quote that I just think is oh so greasy. John H. Johnson. He said, "There is no defense against an excellence that meets a pressing public need." There is no defense against an excellence that meets a pressing public need. So number one, if you know the people need what you have to offer, you know that you know that you know, then the only question is the excellence. And if you can get an insignificant amount better every single day, like a little bit better, in a year's time, you will be a problem. You will be a problem. So ladies and gentlemen, number one, you are needed. Number two, get better every single day. And may you be a problem. Till next time.
Ow!
Oh,
Let's
man.
go.
Oh, man. I love it here.
We're
We're
going
going
to
to
the
holler at
gym
you
now.
next time. Right?
Right.
Right? It's a
Peace,
Gatorade
y'all.
commercial. All right, y'all.
All right.